Hey guys, what's up? Constantine here. Another week down, another week closer. We are about 2 weeks into it. Whew, we're bouncing. Okay, I'm not gonna keep bouncing. Let's bounce right into the video, shall we? So this week's top 10 is the top 10 types of bushwhacks you're gonna hit on trail. And we had a little wiggle room here, but bushwhack, it is a very generic term, so it covers a broad spectrum. I'm not going to be able to touch on everything that this spectrum covers in this video, but we keep rambling about how big bushwhack is. Let's just jump into the top 10 list. Top 11. Number 1, Rainforest Bushwack. Whoo, baby. This is a fun one. When we say Rainforest Bushwack, it means the environment. So a lot of the Rainforest Bushwack you will experience is over on the West Coast. So the Rainforest Bushwack on the Vancouver Island Trail, the Rainforest Bushwack on the PNT, Pacific Northwest Trail. What this means is the growth is going to be so thick. Thick spelled with 2 C's, that thick. We could even throw a 3rd C on there, but we're going to let the bushwhack speak for itself. But a Rainforest Bushwack is you are going to be pushing through brush. You are going to be chest high, waist high, over your head. It is, you're not going to be able to see where you're going. You purely are going to be in thick brush, thick vegetation, because with all the rain, a lot of growth happens out there, and it is one of the toughest ones to do, because once we start getting into more of this list, you'll see the differences in it. But a Rainforest Bushwack, you really can't see what's in front of you. Sometimes all that's in front of you is literally the brush. There's leaves, it's grabbing your face. It is very, very difficult, and on top of that, you're gonna get wet if it's been raining. That is a world unto itself. That is a bushwhack unto itself. But a rainforest type of bushwhack, it's one of the hardest, if not the hardest. Whew, baby, the Vancouver Island Trail. We got lost in this bushwhack one time, tucking on the side of this mountain. And we were lost in there for 2 hours, and I think we went maybe a mile. And the mile that we were supposed to go was not the right direction. We digress. Rainforest bushwhacks are super, super tough. Be prepared if you're going into a bushwhack in very, very thickly vegetated areas. Number 2, on the flip side of this, an Alpine Bushwack. One of our favorite types of bushwhacks. Not all bushwhacks are bad. Some bushwhacks are really, really fun. So an Alpine Bushwack, again, we're using bushwhack loosely, but bushwhack defines what it means when there's no defined trail for you. It defines when there's no defined trail. So an Alpine Bushwack just means there's no trail. But it being Alpine, you're above tree line, so you can see for miles in front of you. You can see the next turn that you have to do. You can see the cliff face coming up. You can see the rock structures coming up. You can, simply put, you can see what's in front of you, and you're not pushing through brush a lot of the time. It gets more technical in the sense that you have to know how to rock scramble or where to put the right steps. You don't want to go sliding off a mountain. It gets more technical, but we personally would prefer to do an Alpine Bushwack over a Rainforest Bushwack any day. Talk to any hiker that's had a prolonged experience in either of these two, and I have a feeling they're going to say the same. So an Alpine Bushwack is when you're above tree line. There's no trail, but you have a good sense because you can continue to see where you're shooting for. And if it's 2 mountaintops away, 3 mountaintops away, 4 mountaintops away, you can continue to just keep walking through it. Granted, you might have to bounce into that Rainforest Bushwack, but for the most part, you're going to be up high, and it's going to be a pleasant experience. No trail. You got to create the trail for yourself, create the route for yourself, but still super, super fun. Number 3, another big one of our favorites, a desert bushwhack. And a desert bushwhack relates to when there is no trail through the desert. This doesn't necessarily mean that it's just big Sahara, big sand dunes, stuff like that. In this type of context, it means there's still overgrowth in the form of cactuses, very, very spiky cactuses. Tear apart your legs, tear apart your gear. It'll tear apart a lot of your soul while you're in that one. But on the other hand of that too, a desert bushwhack, when they're sporadic and they're not as thick, can be very pleasant. It's, again, you just pick your route, pick your trail, because there is no trail, and you go in the direction that is back towards trail. You're on trail, but not on trail in a sense. We're not going to get into that too much. A bushwhack, you're still on trail, but there's no trail. Okay, we just said what we wanted to say. But a desert bushwhack is fun because you don't have to worry about too much. There's been some sections in Arizona that we've gotten into thickly vegetated sagebrush and thickly vegetated cacti. not the best, and the Grand Enchantment Trail would be a good example of this. We personally haven't done it. We've had a lot of friends that have, and they've told us they've went through bushwhacks that are 20 miles long, and they are shredded by the end of it. The slicer and dicer, the Vegematic of the desert. So that is why it is number 3. Number 4, not really one of our favorites. It's hurt our souls a lot. River bushwhacks. Most popular one that comes to my mind, besides the GDT, because the GDT, whole world onto itself, is on the CDT, Continental Divide Trail. DB and I, we were going through the Bob Marshall Wilderness, and we had to reroute near the Chinese Wall because there was a fire, but we got to stay in the Bob Marshall Wilderness. Don't remember what trail system they put us on, but we were on a trail system, and that trail system all of a sudden ended. Where did it end? It ended in a river. Where'd that river end? About 15 miles up. Could we walk on either side of it? No. Thick vegetation, cliff face. So I think it was the Sun River that we walked. We walked 15 miles in the Sun River, and you're thinking to yourself, how is that possible, Constantine? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, constantly, or just straight, depending on the depth, depending on what was happening. And sometimes we would have to come up on the bank, but majority of that 15 miles was river bushwhacking, and it was super, super tough. We're actually getting ready to go to the Florida Trail, so we'll have water bushwhacking here in the future, but river bushwhacking is a world unto itself. And actually, funny enough, we were gonna go back into the thick brush because we were just getting so tired of that river bushwhack. Right before we were about to go into it, grizzly bear pops out of it, comes into the river we're standing in, takes a drink of water, looks at us, goes back into the brush. You know what we did? We didn't go back into that brush. We continued our river bushwhack. So a river whack, it's okay. I was trying to find a good word for it. It's all right. So river bushwhacking, it's gonna be on your radar, and it might become a necessity sometimes. So that is number 4. Number 5, this one's another pleasant one, canyon bushwhacking. And canyon bushwhacking, a lot of it refers to Utah type of hiking, Arizona type of hiking, New Mexico type of hiking, a lot of that southwest region. And canyon bushwhacking means no trail, a lot of canyons. Sometimes your maps might not be ground truth, so you might look at your elevation profile and it says you just have to walk across this line to get to the next top. But what you're looking at is a straight drop down and a straight drop back up. You're not going to try to jump that gap. You have to find the way down, way back up to cross a maybe 30-foot gap that the map says you could have crossed. So you're going to have to canyon whack down that trail that's no trail and figure out a route to get you to the other side safely. And on the flip side of this, there's also canyon bushwhacking when you're in the canyon itself, and that's where the route's supposed to take you when the cliff walls surround you. That's fun in a sense as well. We really like canyon bushwhacking, so that one is number 5. Number 6, valley bushwhacking. Really, really generic. There's such a broad sense of it. We try to narrow down the types of bushwhacking as much as possible, but it's just so immense because bushwhacking refers to any type of environment, anything that's out there, any wilderness. So we tried to narrow it down. So valley bushwhacking is number 6 because you're going to go through a lot of valleys on almost any trail. And in those valleys, depending on the trail, you are going to have to pick your way through those valleys bushwhack style. There may be no trail. There may be a faint game trail. There may be something in there that you can see other hikers pass through. Most of the time, a bushwhack, you won't be able to see that kind of small detail because not many hikers have passed through it. Valley bushwhacking is super tough because it mixes in a lot of the elements from singular bushwhacks, mixes in rivers, mixes in creeks, mixes in rainforest or thick vegetation, mixes in a lot, and depending how big that valley is, it's going to depend how long you were in that bushwhack. The Jack Pine Valley on the GDT, not only a river bushwhack, but a bushwhack in a valley, and that was one of the toughest valleys we have ever crossed. There's an Ox River that you had to, Jack Pine River that you had to cross the entire time, and then you were put right back into the willows, right back into thick vegetation. Valley bushwhacking is tough. It's gonna be part of your life though, if you choose this life. So that's why it's number 6. Number 7, this one's a fun one. It kind of coincides with number 5, canyons. Number 7 is cliff bushwhacking. What we mean by this is the trail puts you to a cliff. You either got to go up it or down it. But either way, if you go up it, on the other side, you're gonna have to go down. If you go down it, On the other side, you're gonna have to go up. You know what we mean. So a cliff bushwhack means you're gonna have to find a way up, down, around, whatever it may be, that cliff face. And a cliff face can be anywhere from 20 feet tall, 30 feet tall, 40 feet tall, 50 feet tall, multiple hundreds of feet tall. Is that not a mountain, Constantine? It is. But a cliff bushwhack, it just means you're gonna have to figure out a way around this huge drop off or huge incline. And we ran into a lot of this on the Vancouver Island Trail. We actually cliff bushwhacked, waterfall bushwhacked for about 3 miles straight at one point, and there were huge drop offs, and the slip and slide game was it was a little tight. It was a little tighter than we wanted it to be, and we're not talking about our feet on the ground. The tightness was in a different place. So that is cliff bushwhacking, but it also can be super fun. We've had great instances on the PNT, so let's not scare you too much. That's number 7. Number 8, this one's fun too, snow bushwhacking. And our titles aren't that great because we tried to put bushwhacking into each one to give you the sense of it just means trail without trail. We said that a lot, but our titles are weird for each one, but we're incorporating bushwhacking. So snow bushwhacking, this means no trail. There's snowfall on the ground. You can't see where you're going because there's no footprints in front of you. There's no beaten down trail. Snow bushwhacking can even come when there is a very good trail. It's just 6 feet under. So you're gonna have to figure out where to go. There's no markers, there's no route. You kind of have to feel out where you're going. And 2020, the GDT, when we did it this year, that was almost the entirety of it. Having a sense of, okay, the trail, even though we can't see it and we might be standing right on top of it, it's gonna go up to that pass. We have to figure out how to go up to that pass. And if you watch our stuff, you know that we would follow grizzly prints up to that pass because they know the right way to go, and we trust our grizzly pals. Let's just hope they trust us as well. So snow travel, that is even when it's on regular trail, but then when it's in areas that's not even any trail whatsoever, that's when it becomes tough in the woods and the trees. It's gonna be slow moving. You're gonna be post-holing. Have fun. You heard the inflection in the voice, right? We had a moment of pain in there, but snow travel, it's going to be part of it, and it's part of the journey, part of the experience, so enjoy. Number 9, again, super generic. It's hard to encompass all this into 10, but 9 is going to be wood bushwhacking. And what this refers to, at least in our heads, is kind of the South. The South area, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee. You're not going to get into it a lot on the Appalachian Trail, but if you're doing some of these lesser known trails down here, you'll probably get into some bushwhacking. Even on the Florida Trail, I think the first 20 miles through Big Cypress, there's trail, but it's in a swamp, so you're kind of bushwhacking in a sense. But woods bushwhacking can come in any form. We did it on the Natchez Trail in Mississippi. A storm had come through, completely demolished the trail, so we had to figure out our route through the woods. And it's very difficult because depending on the woods you're going through, there's going to be a lot of foliage on the ground. There is going to be absolutely no sense of what is up, what is down, what is left, what is right. And maybe every so often check your GPS. We had a point that we checked it every 1 or 2 hours, and it let us know we were on the right track at least. And there's no trail, so wood bushwhack, push through the woods. You might see Bigfoot in there, not in the South, but you'll see something weird in there, or at least you'll find something weird in yourself in that bushwhack. Every single one. We keep finding weird and weirder stuff inside of ourselves, and I don't know if we can get any more weirder. Digress again. Number 9 is woods bushwhack. Number 10, boulder bushwhack. Does that not mean cliff bushwhack? No. Cliff is different than a boulder bushwhack, and a boulder bushwhack, we've ran into it on the Appalachian Trail because even though it was very well marked, you do not have a designated path in front of you. There might be a white blaze 10 feet down, 10 yards down, but no defined path. You're gonna have to rock hop. And is that really the sense of a bushwhack? Kind of. We just paralleled it to the ATBs. Most people know about the AT, but if you want a real sense of bouldering bushwhack, go out to the PNT, Pacific Northwest Trail. You'll find some bouldering bushwhacks out there where you just have to pick your way across a boulder field, and that boulder field might go on for a couple hundred yards, might go on for a few miles. Depending what it is, you're gonna have to find your way through there, and be careful because bouldering is different than alpine travel bushwhack, because the boulders, there are huge crevices in there. You can slip and fall, and it's quite dangerous actually. So be careful on that. It's fun, but just be careful around your surroundings and make sure each footstep's firm and not slanted, because we've fallen down one. On Arizona, we fell down about a 5-foot hole on our way into Tucson the first time. And we say Tucson the first time because we went into Tucson, resupplied, finished the trail, came back to Tucson. You didn't need to know all that, but we fell down a hole and it wasn't fun. Wouldn't recommend it. Be careful. That's number 10. Number 11, secret number 11. You ready for it? It's gonna be a fun one. This is our favorite type and our most frequent type of bushwhack, believe it or not. We find ourselves in this bushwhack more than any other one on the list, outside of the list, in between the list, whatever you wanna call it. This one is the lost bushwhack. And hence the name, lost bushwhack. You're just lost. No rhyme or reason. Anywhere you want to pick, river, mountaintop, alpine, woods, valley, snow, anywhere you want to pick, you're just lost. Ain't no rhyme or reason. You think you're going the right way, you feel you're going the right way, you're probably lost. You might be going the right way, but you're doing a circle to get to that right way. You're doing multiple circles, but gradually moving forward. So we find ourselves in this bushwhack most of the time, and lost, it's a term, right? It's a sense, but can you ever be truly lost? We could get real deep here right now. But lost, you are gonna get lost in these bushwhacks, and lost in the term of, you might be lost for 5 minutes, you might be lost for 10 minutes, you might be lost for a few hours. That's happened to us as well. But for the most part, you are gonna find your way back to trail because you're still in a bushwhack, so there's no trail, but you're gonna find your way back to the right routed line that you made on the map system or the map system defined for you. So get lost, have fun. Don't get lost in the term of never finding your way back. Get lost in the term of having 5 or 10 minutes of not knowing where you are and accepting that fact. And once you accept that fact a little bit more, you start to grow a little bit more and be like, the trail's gonna provide what it provides. I gotta make sure, and I'm responsible. We wanna point that out. Be responsible on that concept of lost. Don't let it grow in you and actually get super lost. But if you get lost for 5 or 10 minutes, have fun. You're gonna get lost on trail. It's a practicality of it. We've accepted it, we've had fun with it. We've brought people into getting lost with us, and sometimes they actually don't have fun with it. Don't do that either. We've had a good crew, so they actually do have fun. But being lost is a reality of trail. Not so much the Appalachian Trail, Pacific Crest Trail, even CDT. You'll get lost every so often on there, but you'll get lost on the lesser known trails, so it's part of it. Have fun, enjoy that bushwhack. All right guys, another top 10 list, top 11. That one was fun. Like talking about the bushwhacks. We really love the number 11 bushwhack. That one was choice. That felt close to our heart. We all feel that one very strongly. So yeah, thanks for watching. We love doing this. 2 weeks left, baby. Whew, we're getting there. We're stepping again from the beginning of the video to the end of the video. We're bouncing. We are bouncing, ready to go. So yeah, we love hearing from y'all. So if you like this, reach out to us, let us know what's up. And if you really like this, please go over to our Patreon page, and there you can see the behind the scenes of what's going in these next 2 weeks. 8,000 miles on trail this year, about 5 trails, through hikes, and we'll bring you along for the journey. But if you want to see the behind the scenes, you can always head over there. And if you want to see gear that's built by through hikers, for through hikers, everybody in the outdoor community, you can go over to 11 Skies. We actually just released some kids shorts that we made, and we wanted to get those out to you, get the entire family ready for hiking season as we move forward and move into more production runs. We want to get everybody inspired as much as we're inspired. So head on over to 11 Skies and check it out. We love doing it, and we love hearing from you. So yeah, that's about it, guys. Another top 10, top 11 video. Thanks for watching. Cool. Peace.